Black women have always been at the forefront of any movement or revolution. In fact, I'll go as far and say that without black women, most revolutions or movements wouldn't even happen or function properly. Now, from the outside looking in, some observers may be under the impression that black women have been forced into the role of battle, especially due to the circumstances they've been put under. But upon further observation, it becomes very clear that the ancestors of black women have always been willing participants and even initiators of battle. Remember, you guys can support the home team banner on Patreon to gain full access to sources and full African history lessons. All you gotta do is check out the link in the description box below. Anyway, today we're gonna talk about the top 5 African warrior queens straight out of the continent. Now, for the longest time, outside observers, aka non-Africans, seem to not only acknowledge but respect the fighting spirit of African women. In more recent times, the French, in their interaction with the West African Amazonians, known today as the Dahomey Amazons, wrote about these warriors as having, and I quote, incredible courage and audacity. They weren't there just as props. They bodied other African kingdoms. And the unique thing about African women was not that they were simply fighting in battle, but they also initiated war. Yaa Asantewaa is a prime example, as she single-handedly started the War of the Golden Stool. Referring to more ancient times, the presence of female African warriors is also noted and even romanticized. The Greeks created legends of Queen Marina and what they called the Candace Queens of ancient Kush. They were astonished that these women would literally participate in battle. Now, this list is going to be unique, right? Because these women weren't your ordinary trash-talking warfare initiators. The majority of the following African women you're about to hear from were literally present on the battlefield. In other words, these women were the baddest of the bad. Coming in at number 5, we have Princess Yanenga. Now, Princess Yanenga eventually became a queen, but her legend started when she was just a princess. Her father was a king of a region in northern Ghana, and she was said to be the most beautiful girl in all the kingdom. But that wasn't what was unique about her. She was actually hailed as being an excellent horse rider and warrior, a master, if you will, with the bow and spear. She is said to have been a better rider than most of the men, and one of the top warriors in all of the kingdom. She was highly favored in the kingdom, and her father absolutely adored her. But like many women, she wanted to get married, and her father thought to himself, how can I lose such an excellent warrior and leader to marriage? So he refused to allow Princess Yanenga to get married. This pained Princess Yanenga deeply. So to express how she felt, she planted a lush field of wheat, but she didn't take care of it and allowed it to rot. When her father inquired about why she allowed such a beautiful field of wheat to rot, she said, "You see, father, as precious as you say I am, still you let me rot like the wheat in this field." However, that didn't work, as her father hardened his heart, so she ran away, fighting off foes trying to capture her, and started her own nation. This nation is the region of Burkina Faso today. Princess Yanenga became the queen mother of Burkina Faso and a legendary warrior figure in all of West Africa. Being the queen warrior mother of any nation is why Princess Yanenga is ranked so high amongst all African warrior queens. At number 4, we have Queen Gudi. Queen Gudi is a legendary queen from Ethiopia, believed to be descended from the Sidamo people. Some scholars say that she was of Jewish religion and apparently despised the Christian empire of Aksum. She, according to Aksumite oral and written tradition, was a woman scorned. For whatever reason, she despised the Aksumite dynasty and nearly relinquished the entire genetic line of Aksumite royalty. She is said to have laid waste to Aksum and its countryside, destroying churches and monuments. She killed the emperor and ascended to the throne, reigning pretty much until her death. The Aksumite Empire was a pretty well-established state, and the fact that she utterly ravaged and destroyed it, starting a new line of Ethiopian kings and queens, is very significant. Her actions single-handedly influenced the future of Ethiopia and started a nation. In Ethiopia today, she is known as Esato, literally meaning fire. Breaking our top 3, we have Queen Nzinga of Angola. Queen Nzinga has a very special place in my heart. With that being said, Queen Nzinga breaks our top 3 because she was born and bred in fire. Her story is incredible, and there's even been a movie done about her. Since birth, legend has it that the umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck, almost killing her. So from jump, she had to fight for her life. She, like Princess Yanenga, was also favored by her father, and he reportedly took her to battle with him. I mean, everything about this woman from jump screams legendary. Honestly, we would be here all day telling all the stuff this queen has done, as it's well documented. But to sum it up, Queen Nzinga is hailed as not only being a warrior queen, literally being present on the battlefield, but she was a powerful ambassador, demonstrating the ability to manipulate foreign and domestic politics in her favor. She was absolutely brilliant. You see, she wasn't exactly legitimate. Her mother, if we're all honest, was pretty much a side piece to her father, the king. So her entire life, she had somewhat of a struggle for legitimacy. But not only did she get the Portuguese to acknowledge and respect her rule, she also got Mbundu detractors to bow. As long as she was alive, the Portuguese were never able to gain a stronghold over the region. Today, she is recognized and remembered for displaying brilliant political and diplomatic acumen, implementing superb military tactics. One quote that Queen Nzinga left us that ironically sums up her political relationship with the Portuguese is this: Europeans, you don't know what's good. That speaks volumes concerning her political and militaristic confidence, if you will. Coming in at number 2, the second greatest warrior queen of Africa is little known and discussed. Her name is Queen Amina. Now, Queen Amina was a Hausa warrior, queen of northwest Nigeria. In many ways, Queen Amina is actually similar to Queen Gudi, but two big things seems to separate them. For one, Queen Amina is said to have actually led her troops in battle, conquering many cities like Katsina and Kano, and Queen Amina is also hailed as being a pioneer to her people. Not only was she the greatest female conqueror of West Africa, expanding her territory and forcing others to pay tribute, she is hailed as being the first to establish government among the Hausa people themselves. Leading your troops into battle and being a pioneer for your people are extraordinary characteristics for not only a queen but a warrior that actually fights in battle. And what we've all been waiting for, coming in at number 1, the greatest African warrior queen was Queen Reinas. Now, Queen Reinas was the queen of the ancient kingdom of Kush, with its headquarters believed to be in the ancient city of Merowe. The queens of Kush were probably some of the most popular queens in the ancient world because they were well known for literally fighting in battle. They were known as Kandaki queens, and Queen Reinas descended from a long line of them. She is most known for her conflict with Rome, as Rome tried to tax Nubians living in Egypt, which she opposed. The Romans have their account written by Strabo, which obviously favors the Roman perspective, but unfortunately, we don't have the full perspective because Queen Reinas has a written account on a stela in Meroitic script, a script that we have difficulty translating. We know in the end that Queen Reinas chopped off the head of a statue of Augustus and buried it under her temple as a sign of disrespect, and varying battles taking place that led to a treaty being signed. In this treaty, the Kushites got everything they wanted, including the tax revoked. Her presence on the battlefield was noted, as she is said to have a scarred eye. Her bravery and composure in her conflict with the Romans is legendary, as she protected her people by halting potential Roman ambition in the region. She just wasn't having it, and was apparently ready for anything that came her way. According to legend, Kushite ambassadors in their diplomatic dialogue with the Romans bringing a message from the queen. One of the Kushite envoys gallantly presents the Romans a beautiful bundle of golden arrows and said the following words: "This gift is from the Candace. If you want peace, this is a token of her warmth and friendship. If you want war, keep the arrows, because you're going to need them." It seems clear that the Kushites did not appear as beaten foes because of the aggressive message brought to the Romans. That is the most epic response to the most powerful military on earth at the time. Her leadership, guidance, determination, and grit is second to none when it comes to African warrior queens.